Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bayou Time Sports. I'm Stan Gravois, and I am so fortunate to have here with me Casey Gisclair of Bayou Sports. Casey does just a tremendous job in our area on a daily basis, covering all of our student athletes from the area. Casey, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful, man. How about yourself?
I am doing well. Thanks so much for giving a little time as we're going to look back at the scoreboard and maybe get a couple of your thoughts related to the scores this past weekend in high school football. It all started off on Thursday night with 3 games of our local teams, and then on Friday it was a full slate. Let's get a look at that scoreboard now. Again, Friday night, it was Holy Cross with a 1-point victory over E.D. White. They got that score with 16 seconds left in the game. Vanderbilt Catholic, no problems with Central Lafourche. South Lafourche, 7 points short of Thibodaux High. Terrebonne got by Riverside Academy. H.L. Bourgeois on Thursday night went down to Ascension Catholic. South Terrebonne shut out Ove Como. I hate saying that because Ove Como down the line is my great-great-great-grandfather. Thomas Jefferson, no contest for CCA. Assumption goes down to Donaldsonville. Ellender down to Livingston Collegiate. Morgan City, a huge win over Berwick. White Castle gets shut out by Central Catholic. That was another Thursday game. And finally, Houma Christian just smacks Highland Baptist. Casey, when you look at all of that, your thoughts just in general of the first week, was it sort of what you expected, or did you see anything that really stood out and surprised you?
In terms of like the teams that won, I don't know that there was any real big surprises, but I really believe that one of the big surprises was the spread of that Vanderbilt win over Central Lafourche. Central Lafourche has a big senior group. They were young last year. They were just beat up by injury. So they were coming into this season saying, hey, it's going to be different. They got the better of Assumption in their scrimmage. They got a tie against South Terrebonne in their jamboree. They really were thinking that they could come in there and fight hard with Vanderbilt and maybe even steal a road win. Vanderbilt just from the get-go jumped on them early, got big plays, played really well on offense, defense, and special teams. So the outcome and the spread of that game is, to me, probably the biggest surprise of week one.
One thing in addition to everything you do for Bayou Sports on Friday night, you're the voice of the Tarpons, and you were at their game on Friday night against Thibodaux. A lot of people in the area really curious about Noel Narcisse. You know, what kind of coach? We saw him in our peripheral vision when he was at Ascension Catholic, and obviously he was such a great player when he was at St. James High School. And then he does what he does on the first play from scrimmage. Talk about what you saw from Thibodaux and the fight in the Tarpons.
That was a really good game. That was a very physical game. That game felt like a week 8 or a week 9 game, and just in terms of the physicality, both teams had guys playing 2 ways. Coach Narcisse and his staff are doing a really good job, man. And look, when you look at some of the people on his staff, you got Shane Trusler, who's like the associate head coach, Coach Abadi, who's working there. They got Skylar Green, who's the receivers coach. I mean, they got dudes up and down that coaching staff that are doing a great job. Thibodaux made 1 play more than the Tarpons, getting that big interception and getting that big goal line stand. They get to 1-0. And I really think, and look, here's the big thing about Coach Narcisse. Everybody we talked to at Thibodaux, from administration to students, to even students in the student section who don't even play football, it was unanimous. We love this dude. He's embracing the school. They go watch all the sports. They go to volleyball games, softball games. He's embracing Thibodaux pride. They've got a winner out there at Thibodaux.
Listen, switching gears just a little bit. E.D. White can maybe go 1-3 their first 3 games. They can maybe go 2-1 their first 3 games. Unfortunately, they maybe could go 0-3 like a lot of teams who lost their first game could do. That being said, the gauntlet that they are playing is going to work out in the end, wouldn't you say?
100%. Kyle Asang told us several times during the summer, he said, hey, look, the thing you don't want to have is you don't want to see something for the first time in week 11. And what he meant by that is you want to make sure that in weeks 1 through 10, you see speed, size, teams that could throw, teams that could run, teams that are physical. And that's exactly what they're doing, playing Holy Cross, Jesuit, and Honda right out of the gate. You're going to see everything that you need to see to get you ready for the playoffs. So you're right. The record, I know they're going to say it matters. Of course, they would love to be 2-1 after the opening day loss. but it's all getting them ready for the end goal, which is being prepared for week 11.
Listen, we both, and I think I speak for you, and I'll let you jump in. We'd like to congratulate Mark Danos. That's win number 1 for Mark over at Morgan City. Anybody who knows anything about high school football in the area knows that Morgan City sort of has a path. It's sort of baby steps to getting there, and to win against Berwick, a rival team that's right across the river that, quite honestly, you hear, kids there kind of cross those lines a little bit, whatever. Big win for Mark Danos, right?
100%. And look, in years past when Morgan City would get some wins, it would be like 18-14 or 12-6. Like they kind of win an ugly game. They put it on Berwick. They scored a lot of points. They played well, and try to get to 2-0 this week, taking on Slaughter. It's a great chance for Morgan City to try to get to 2-0.
Yep, and listen, we mentioned South Terrebonne had a shutout against Como. CCA, a good win against Thomas Jefferson. Those two teams will be playing each other this week. They played, I think it was Hurricane Francine that came through last year, and they played on a Sunday afternoon. That ought to be an interesting one, right?
100%. I think that's going to be a very competitive game for sure.
Got to take a break. It's always good to have Casey. If you want to find out more on a daily basis about our local sports, go to Bayou Sports. That's BYU Sports. BY-U. Should I say the dash in there, Casey?
Dash, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
BY-U Sports. And Facebook, you could see tons and tons of stuff. We'll have Casey more throughout the year talking about high school sports, but we have to take a break now. We'll be back with more after this timeout.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.